Alright, so we're going to make the very simple base for our DC motor. The instructions are on Canvas, which you guys already are at. First thing you want to do is open up Autodesk Inventor. And again, your icon will be over here on the left a little bit down. So I'm opening up Autodesk Inventor. And I already have mine open, so I'm just going to pop it up just so you guys can see what it looks like. So this is what we're making, something very, very basic, very simple, but we're going to make it, start off making it a square, just so it's a little bit easier for you guys to measure off of some things. So first thing that we want to do is up at the top of your screen, there's that little black arrow. Actually, that's not what we want to do. So we want to go to the eye, and we want to go to a new, and then we want to make sure that you're choosing metric, and then standard millimeter. Alright, so you should have a blank blue screen on. We're going to create a sketch, so we're going to click the top half of this button where it says 2D sketch. We're going to click on our x-axis right here, and then you should get your grid screen. All of our tools are up here at the top. The tool we're going to use is a rectangle. So remember, this is a click and click program, so I'm clicking one time to start, clicking one time to stop. Our dimensions, I click D for dimensions on my keyboard, or I click the dimensions tool. And we're going to measure this top one, and we're going to make it 40. And then the side, we're also going to make 40. If it shoots off your screen like mine did, on your keyboard, if you hit home, it'll center it. Alright, so that part's done. We're going to go ahead and extrude it. So I'm going to hit E to extrude, E on my keyboard. And we're extruding this to 3 millimeters. So on yours it just looks like this, so right here we're going to change it to 3. And now we're ready for the next part. On my view cube, I'm going to click on the front view. I'm going to click on our surface here, so I'm left clicking here, and then adding the sketch, which is the third button over. And we're going to put on 2 more rectangles. So I'm going to grab my rectangle tool, and I'm going to put one on the right side, click once to start it, once to stop it, once to start it, once to stop it. Using my dimensions tool again, I'm going to measure the top of this, and I'm going to make it 5. Now mine shot off the screen, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get off of dimensions. So I'm going to right click, hit OK, and then I'm just going to drag it back into where I want it to be. I'm going to do the same thing with the other one, just dragging it back in. So I go back to dimensions, and I'm going to make it 5 again. So it's 5 by 5. Same thing on the other side. 5 by 5. Now we're going to measure up and down and right and left. So I wanted a certain distance away from the edge, so I'm going to click on the edge and the edge. And I'm going to make that dimension 0.5. Same thing on the other side. Edge to edge is going to be 0.5. Now up and down, so the bottom to the bottom, I'm going to make that 17.5. Same thing on the other side, bottom to bottom, 17.5. Okay, now we're going to put a circle in here, because like you said, the frame, this is where we're going to put the rods to kind of hold our motor part. So I'm going to grab my circle tool, and you can kind of cheat a little bit. If I'm zoomed in here, if you put your mouse in the middle, you can see that red dotted line that pops up. That tells me I'm centered right and left. If I move it up a little bit farther, I can see another red dotted line. That tells me that I'm centered up and down. So in the center of that circle, I'm going to make a circle that is 1.7. Do the same thing on the other side. Grab my circle tool, make sure I'm centered, and I'm going to make it 1.7. Alright, so I'm ready to extrude again. So E to extrude. Select the squares, and we're going to extrude those to 5. So I'm going to change this number from 3 to 5. Should be left with that. Now we have one more hole to cut, so I'm going to click on this far side here on the square, not the bottom half, the top half, and add a sketch, that third button over. And I'm going to put another circle, same thing, I'm going to make sure I'm centered up and down and right and left. And this one is just going to be 1. And now I'm ready to extrude. So I'm going to hit E to extrude. I'm going to zoom in there a little bit. I want to just that little circle. And you can see it's coming out, so I want to change it from join to cut. And then I want to cut it 40. That'll cut all the way through the entire piece. So if you look, you should have a hole going through both sides. I do. Now we're going to round it. So I'm going to use the fillet tool. And I'm going to select the 4 outside corners. And I'm going to fillet it. Where it says radius here, I'm going to change this radius to 20. Hit enter. Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to fillet the 4 corners. It's going to be too big here. It's going to be bigger than 20. That's alright, we'll change it here in a second. So you're going to get these weird red lines like I do. So choose all 4 corners. And we're going to change this radius to 2.5. Hit OK. And you're done. So go ahead and save this. So go to File, the I, Save As, and save it as DC Motor Base. Hit save. Now if you want, you can change it to whatever color you want to. Doesn't really matter to me. Just if you change its color, whoops. Just make sure you hit save again afterwards so it saves it. Alright, that is it.